You don't have control over what is happening on the outer world. And for you to find peace, you have to go within. You have to, ask yourself deep questions. You have to be willing to make a deep conversation with yourself. We are not perfect human beings. We can never be perfect, no matter how we try. And when you want to always appear perfect in the eyes of people, you are not living real. You are not being honest with yourself. Because as long as we are in this, our human form, we will always make mistakes. So you need God's grace. What is grace? Grace is God's power in action. Grace is the manifestation of God's power in your life. The power to do and the power to be who He created you to be. Grace is given on purpose, for a purpose. You have to have a purpose in life. For you to be able to activate the power of grace in your life, you have to first of all discover your purpose. And for you to discover your purpose is for you to discover who you are, first of all. Grace is the power to do those things you cannot do in your own physical strength, in your own physical power. Then you rely on God. You lean on God's grace, even staying calm in the midst of chaos. That is the power of grace. When other people are anxious, you are calm. This is the power of grace. This is what grace can do for you. When you learn to lean on God, there are things that people worry over that you will no longer worry so much. There are things that people stress themselves over that you will no longer stress yourself. You are soaring, just like the eagle. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Ekwunife Augustina. If this is your first time of tuning in, you are highly welcome. If not, I appreciate you and I thank you so much for supporting me on this platform. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the notification button so that each time I upload new content, you will be the first to be notified. In today's video, I am going to share how to soar, especially in a time like this one that we are living now. How do one be in God's rest? How do you have peace of mind? How do you be at rest? How do you have peace of mind when a lot of things is happening out there? We all know what is going on in the world. I believe this is the right time to talk on this crucial topic, being at peace. Being in God's rest. This book inspired today's video. SOAR, being in God's rest. How do we be in God's rest? How do we be, at peace with ourselves, at peace with the world around us, despite what is happening on the outside, despite the crisis, the situations and circumstances that are not promising. They are not so promising. When you look around you, if you are like me, because I can be very observant to what is happening around me, I tend to feel a lot of energies around me. So if you are like me, you will notice that people have fear, people have anxieties. But the peace, you can't find it in the world. You can't find it in the situations or circumstances that are creating the crisis for you. So the only place you can find the peace that I'm about to share with you, an inner peace of mind, even in a time like the one we are, witnessing. I mean, how to go within, how to, look for that peace of mind within you and not on the things that are happening around you. The chapter 1 of my book says, rest is never a curse. Why did I use that phrase, rest is never a curse? Because in this our modern days, To me, it seems as if rest has become a curse, because most people don't really find time to rest. They don't cultivate alone time. It's like they fear that alone time. They must be busy, they must be up and down, they must be doing one thing or the other. So rest is not a cause. For you to pause, for you to, stop from time to time and have a pause and have a break for yourself, that is not a cause. Rest is a blessing. It's a blessing from God. When you can be able to rest, cultivate alone time, spend time on your own, you will see that it is really a blessing. Because when you rest, you are nurturing yourself, you are nurturing your inner self. When you look stressed out, when you are always nervous or easily irritated, it is because you are denying yourself of that rest. Whatever we do in life, the most important thing is what we are becoming and not what we aim to gain or gather. At the end of the day, it is who you become that matters and not what you gather or what you aim to gather. Many people go through life rushing, always in a haste, always running up and down in search of one thing and the other. How about you? How about the person you are on the inside? How about your truest self, the spirit living in that your body? Your outer physical body is a house that houses the true you, the person on the inside. Have you paused to ask yourself, how am I taking care of me? How am I taking care of the person that lives in this my body? We spend time in beautifying our environment, the house where we live, the furnitures. We spend time on so many things that at the end of the day, they are meaningless. Because if you are not healthy to enjoy the fruit of your labor, what is the meaning? What gain is there in toiling, running up and down, for at the end of the day, not being there to enjoy the fruit of your labor? So you see the importance of rest. That is why I said rest is never a curse. It is a blessing when you are able, when you can spend some time with yourself to nurture yourself. You learn a lot of things about you that you might not even know that you have. When you are able to spend quiet time, you will grow on a spiritual level. When you are able to spend quiet time, alone time, and have time to meditate, when you can meditate, you bring yourself to the present. And when you are present, when you can bring yourself to the present, you will be grounded, you will be focused. At the end of the day, you will achieve more, because when you are focused, when you are grounded, when you know what you are doing, and when you are doing it from that place of peace and not from a place of stress, you will see the difference. You will see the results. Reading from my book, sleep deprivation has become such an issue in a modern epoch because we have deluded ourselves into believing that in order to be normal, even though not always productive, we must be constantly busy, constantly up and doing. We have become workaholic and we neglect the importance of rest, which is a higher order of beingness. Some of us don't know how to be Marys because we are so accustomed to being mothers, always busy. You remember when Jesus visited the house of Mary and Martha, and Mary was the only person, that came close to Jesus because she wanted to spend time with him. She wanted to learn, while Martha was busy trying to get things in order. So many people today are like Martha. They are not like Mary, because we want to always put things in order. We want to, not that it is not good to take care of things, but don't overdo them. Don't be a workaholic, because the more you want to put everything in your life in order, the more you see things that are not in order. I don't know if I'm making sense. So from time to time, you learn to pause. There is time for everything. If you can be able to prioritize and delegate and also plan your day out, at the end of the day, you will have enough space and enough time for yourself to rest. Okay, I continue with the reading. In the book of Psalms 127, verse 2, I'm going to read it out from my book. It says, "It is vain for you to rise early and put off your rest at night, to eat bread and by hard toil. All this God gives to his beloved in sleep." That does not mean that when you are lazy and irresponsible, when you refuse to manage your life the right way, then God will, give you everything and make everything work out for you. Manna does not fall from heaven in our today's, reality. That is sure. But what this verse is trying to tell us is that there are things that God has to take care of, and there are things you can take care of yourself. You overdo it when you want to do your own part and do God's part. You overdo it when you don't let go and let God. When you worry, when you are anxious, when you want to fix everything, get everything done, you will exhaust yourself. You will run out of energy. So that is what I understood by this verse in Psalms 127 verse 2, that it is vain for you to rise early and put off your rest at night, to eat bread and by hard toil. All this God gives to his beloved. When you neglect relaxation, you are endangering your health, especially your mental health. Many people out there are exhausted. They are tired mentally. So the only way you can cure yourself of mental tiredness, I am not a medical professional, I'm just sharing out of my personal experience. So you take it as an advice from me, not as a prescription from a medical practitioner. You can also search out for yourself and see if it's true or if it works for you. So I'm sharing from my own personal experience. When you are exhausted and tired mentally, I don't think there's any medication out there to cure your mental tiredness. When you spend time to rest, when you create and map out time to relax, to sleep, it will help you with mental tiredness more than trying to force your body to go the extra mile. All you need is to rest, sleep. It is not a cost, it is a blessing. It is a blessing. Money cannot buy you rest. No amount of wealth in the world can buy you mental health. No amount of money. I have seen people with money, I have seen people into wealth, into riches, but yet they suffer from mental health. So while those who don't even have half of their wealth, they are enjoying peace of mind. You see, I think that is what this explains better. That verse in Psalms 127 chapter 2. Not that God will sponsor everything you do, feed you, give you everything while you are sleeping. I shared a lot on this chapter in my book about rest, because I've seen that we tend to neglect this topic. We tend to neglect this part of our beingness. Rest is very important, and we have to learn to cultivate, alone time to nurture ourselves. If we want to produce, to be productive, if you want to be creative, you cannot be creative with a tired mind, with a tired brain. When your brain is tired, when you are stressed out, you cannot be creative. You can't even, for example, I myself, I don't have inspiration when I am tired mentally. My inspiration comes in that moment when I have slept, or maybe I have rested enough, I have had enough relaxation, and then I'm out doing what I love. Maybe I'm cooking, cleaning the house, or maybe I'm just taking a walk in nature, just doing it, and then all of a sudden I will be having thoughts, coming up, a lot of ideas, a lot of inspirations. Why? Because in that moment, I have nurtured my body. I have rested enough. And when you have rested enough, then you will have the energy to face the day's challenges. No one promises you that you won't have challenges, not even God. But He promises to be with us, not to abandon us as orphans. But He never promised us that in the world we are going to have all the peace. That you are a Christian does not guarantee that you are not going to face struggles. And that is not what I did in this book. So I shared my thoughts on how to navigate your days, including the challenges and ups and downs, by nurturing yourself. When you nurture yourself, you have enough energy to invest in the things that matters, in the things that will really be of value to your life. And the next chapter of my book says, broken but not shattered. Can I share a story that I read? I wrote that story here in my book. Don't be afraid of your flaws. Don't be afraid of the scars that that life has left on you. Don't be afraid of those cracks on you, just like a pot with cracks. When you understand that those cracks are nothing but potentials, they are nothing but assets to beautify your life. So let me read something from this book, a story that I read, which I wrote in my book, SOAR. I want to read out this story. I don't remember exactly where I read this story, but I wrote it down here in my book. And the story goes like this. A water bearer had two large pots. One hung on each end of a pole, which he carried across his neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, and while the other pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. At the end of the long walk from the stream to the master's house, the cracked pot always arrived only half full. For 2 years, this went on, with the bearer delivering only 1.5 pots full of water to his master's house. Of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, fulfilled in the design for which it was made. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection and miserable that it was unable to accomplish what it had been made to do. After 2 years of enduring this bitter shame, the pot spoke to the water bearer one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself and I apologize to you." "Why?" asked the bearer. "What are you ashamed of?" "I have been able for these 2 past years to deliver only half my load because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your master's house. Because of my flaws, you have to do all this work and you don't get full value from your efforts," the pot said. The water bearer felt sorry for the old cracked pot, and in his compassion he said, "As we return to master's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along the path." Pay attention to what I'm about to say here. Indeed, as they went up the hill, the old cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wild flowers on the side of the path, and was cheered somewhat. But at the end of the trail, it still felt the old shame because it had leaked out half its load. And so again, the pot apologized to the bearer for its failure. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you not notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path and not on the other pot's side? That's because I have always known about your flaw and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we've walked back from the stream, you've watered them." unknowingly to the old cracked pot, as the water bearer has to deliver this water to the master's house. On his own side, the bearer planted seeds because he noticed that as they come back from the stream to the master's house, this water will always leak from that part or from that side of the pot that was cracked. And while they were going back from the stream to the master's house, the water from the cracked old pot will always, water those seeds, and they produce beautiful flowers. And to make a long story short, the water bearer told the pot, you see, out of your flower came out all these beautiful flowers. Let's see what the pot bearer said to the poor old, cracked pot that was so bitter for not delivering, for not being able to deliver what was expected of him because of the crack in his side. You did not notice, but I took advantage of your flowers and I planted seeds. And for these 2 years, you have unknowingly watered these flowers. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way you are, he would not have this beauty to grace his house. Each of us has flaws. We are all cracked pots. But what you make of your own crack will determine the direction of your life. You can take advantage of the crack in you. You can take advantage, of your flaws and use it to beautify your purpose. There is purpose in our flaws. There is purpose in our crack. We are all cracked, just like the cracked pot. Don't let people, dim your light. Don't let other people's opinions of you divert you from your purpose, because there is a purpose for those cracks. There is a reason why you were allowed to go through all the experiences that created those cracks in your pot. You can soar, you can be at peace in life with whatever you are going through in life. It depends on your attitude. It is the attitude that you put out that will determine the direction of your life, because you can never avoid all these challenges, all the cracks, all the the ups and downs of life. They are all meant to add beauty to your life. They are assets, they are wisdom. If you are able to learn the lessons, if you are able to take advantage of those cracks, if you are able to take advantage of the flaws in your life, you can make beauty out of it. You don't have control over what is happening on the outer world. You only have control over what is happening in your life. And for you to find peace, you have to go within. You have to, ask yourself deep questions. You have to be willing to make a deep conversation with yourself. We are not perfect human beings. We can never be perfect, no matter how we try. And when you want to always appear perfect in the eyes of people, you are not living real. You are not being honest with yourself. Because as long as we are in this, our human form, we will always make mistakes. So you need God's grace. What is grace? Grace is God's power in action. Grace is the manifestation of God's power in your life, the power to do and the power to be who He created you to be. Grace is given on purpose, for a purpose. You have to have a purpose in life. For you to be able to activate the power of grace in your life, you have to first of all discover your purpose. And for you to discover your purpose is for you to discover who you are, first of all. Grace is the power to do those things you cannot do in your own physical strength, in your own physical power. Then you rely on God. You lean on God's grace for Him now to step in to help you do those things, humanly speaking, you cannot be able to do. So you need God's grace. Even staying calm in the midst of chaos, that is the power of grace. Grace gives you the power to stay calm in the midst of chaos. When other people are anxious, you are calm. This is the power of grace. This is what grace can do for you. For you to live your best life here on earth, you need the grace of God. For you to make your relationship function, your relationship with yourself, first of all, and then your relationship with God, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with friends, with colleagues, you need grace. For you to be able to wake up every morning, go to your jobs, do a lot of things, accomplish a lot of things, you can only do that because grace is at work. That is why when people look at you, when they look at your life, they wonder. You become a wonder. They marvel. They ask themselves, where does she get all this strength? So she has 5 children. I'm talking about myself now, in different stages of life, yet she still managed to, be calm. People are not sure of tomorrow. People are scared, yet she is calm. The work I do puts me in the front line during the pandemic, yet I am calm, yet I am smiling. That does not mean that I have some magic stick or whatever. It is because I have learned to lean on God. When you learn to lean on God, there are things that people worry over that you will no longer worry so much. There are things that people stress themselves over that you will no longer stress yourself. There are certain things that you don't stress yourself, like other people do. You are soaring, just like the eagle. Not because they don't have struggles, not because they don't have challenges, but because they have learned to use those winds of life, all those struggles and challenges they face, they encounter on their day-to-day living. They have learned to use them to their own advantage. It's all about the attitude that you put out. How you respond to things happening to you will determine how you're going to come out. I have a lot of things to read out from this book, which can help you or teach you how to, stay calm. Another thing that can help you to stay calm is discipline, because grace works better where there is discipline. When you are not disciplined, you abuse even the little things that you have. For example, you abuse your time, you abuse your gifts, you abuse your talents, you abuse your purpose, you abuse your dreams. When you abuse all these things, you are not going to, be at peace. You always have this fear that things are not going to turn out right, because you know that you are not putting in the work in the first place. You as a person, you are not putting in the work. You are not being disciplined. First of all, for grace to work for you, you have to be disciplined. So another thing is vision. For you to stay calm, you have to, tie your hope to something. And when you tie your hope to people and things, they will always create this inner conflict. You will never be completely happy and satisfied, and this will create worry and anxiety in you. At the end of the day, you are not at peace, because you'll be forced to give more attention to other people's opinion, because you have tied your goal, you have tied your vision to them. When you have vision and you tie your happiness to that vision, you wake up every day with purpose, with vision, with dream, with goal. This will help you stay grounded and focused. So grace is power to do, but you have to have something to do so that grace will abound for you. You don't ask for grace for you to be idle. You don't ask for grace for you to be lazy. So grace is given to you for purpose and on purpose. This way you will be at peace with yourself. This is how you soar and be in God's rest. This is how you be at peace with yourself. Apart from being disciplined, you have to have patience with yourself. A baby that wants to walk must have the patience to learn how to walk. You don't just expect a baby to walk the first time he attempts to walk. He is definitely going to fall, but he has to get up on his feet for him to go back and try again the next day or the next time. So you have to have patience with yourself. It is possible for you to cultivate a positive attitude. It is possible for you to learn how to manage your emotions. It is possible for you to discipline yourself or to take advantage of your flaws and your crack. All these things takes time. It is a process for you to bring yourself to that place where you now lean on God and where you now soar. It means that you have mastered certain aspects of your life. You have to bring yourself to that place where you master a lot of things about you and in you. Then, soaring will no longer be a challenge. It will no longer be difficult. You will learn how to be at peace. And when you are at peace, you know how to manage yourself, and you know how to manage your life when you are calm. But when you are anxious, when you're worried, when you are fearful, you will lose control. And when you lose control, what happens? You start falling down. Sometimes they say cut your coat according to your size. No, cut your coat according to how you want it to look on you. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't say because the situation out there is unsure, therefore let me play it safe. If your dream is not scaring you, it is not big enough. Like egos are high achievers. They never aim low, they always aim high, even with all the challenges and difficulties, because they are focused, they are fearless, they are determined. You have to be determined, you have to be focused. Don't allow crisis or tension or whatever that's happening on outside to sway you front and back or to push you out of your purpose. When you have discovered your purpose, you stay true to yourself, stay true to that purpose by staying focused, by staying disciplined, and also having patience with yourself. It is a process. You learn along the way. As you fall, you get up on your feet. Don't be afraid to fail. You fall, keep falling, you fall forward. Thank you for reviewing my book with me today. Thank you so much for watching so far. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in my next video. God bless you as you soar and as you stay in God's rest, because it is possible for you to be at peace with yourself. The peace you seek is within you. It is not on the outside. You can never find that peace on the outside, on the things that is happening on the outside, because the things that created the confusion, the things that is creating the tension can never give you that peace that you seek. Look within you to find peace. Thank you for watching so far. God bless you and stay tuned. And please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the notification button so that when next I upload new content, you will be the first to be notified. Please share this, because I strongly believe that someone needs to hear this today. Someone who is in that depressed mood, someone who is at the point of giving up. Okay, share this so that they will know that they can find rest in God. They can lean on God. They can, have peace even in a time like this. Yes, peace is possible. And when you are able to cultivate that peace with yourself, then you can be able to bring that peace to wherever you go, to your workplace, at home, to people you meet.